I'm 23 years old and I am a photography major. When I was 19 years old, I was diagnosed bipolar 1. When I am experiencing something, not only am I experiencing it firsthand, kind of from one perspective, I've also adopted like a secondary voice or an observational voice, trying to make sure that, am I feeling too irritated, or am I feeling, agitated? This is a real challenge for me because it adds another level of overthinking to an already frenetic mind. The first school that I went to after I graduated high school was actually the University of Chicago, and it was during my first year there that I was diagnosed and had my first manic episode, which to someone who's never had one, I would describe it as being somewhat on a psychedelic and somewhat on a stimulant nonstop for 3 to 4 weeks. It's incredibly intense. You can have experiences that are similar to psychotic breakdowns. You can have very, very strong delusions. After that whole experience sort of died down, coming back into the exact same psychological space where these people witnessed you in such a vulnerable place, where these people, or you were thinking that these people are judging you and they're thinking, oh my god, that girl was the one who lost it, or the girl who ended up in the psych ward, the girl who's crazy. At the time, I was just not in a place where I could heal. I think there is such a stigma against mental illness in general. We chalk it up to these people are weak, or they're vulnerable, or when people reach out for therapists or reach out to get help, they can be ridiculed by people in the workplace. And certain employers don't want to hire people with a history of mental illness because they're afraid, oh, this person is a quote-unquote whack job, or they're going to go off on other people, when really it just stems from a lack of understanding. I consider myself a creative person since the time I was 4 or 5, but I really didn't see art as a means for expression or a true coping mechanism until my brush with abnormal psychology or mental illness when I was 19. An important theme in not only my drawing and painting but also in my photography is my use of color. So I've always had a very strong attachment to lighting and to the way a space inherently makes me feel. In terms of what I've learned throughout this entire process, I would say that it was one of the most important formative events of my life. I am not the person I was before my diagnosis. I'm not at all, I don't see the world from the same perspective that I did before, and I think these are all really good things. For me, it's such an empowering story that I can share with people because it cemented who I am and how, and because I was able to understand myself in relation to all of this, I know myself a lot deeper as a person. Simply because it's not a physical disorder doesn't mean that it's not valid and it doesn't deserve treatment, and people who need that help don't deserve the medical attention that they do. There's absolutely no way to make the assumption that we're all beginning on the same playing field. One situation may affect an individual in a totally different way than the exact same situation might affect another. Mental illness falls on a spectrum, and if it has come to a point where your life is completely thrown out of balance or utterly disrupted by your diagnosis, it's absolutely valid. It's so important for us to all speak out about our experiences, because only then can we actually truthfully begin to change sort of the societal stigma that surrounds it.